Today we're going to talk about the K-drama The World of the Married. As the drama starts, we see Sanu, who is a family doctor and vice director of the hospital, living a happy life with her husband Tae-oh and a teenage son, Jun-young. Tae-oh is an aspiring film director. One day we see Sanu, who is in the office. She noticed a brown hair strand on the scarf Tae-oh gave her. Due to this, she becomes suspicious of Tae-oh and all the women with brown hair. Sanu's colleague Myung-suk tries to change her mind about Tae-oh having an illicit affair. Sanu decides to follow Tae-oh and sees him getting out of the store with roses and gifts. Desperate to know the truth, Sanu asks Hyun-soo to follow Tae-oh in exchange for a sleeping pill prescription. Sanu finds out all the evidence against Tae-oh in the trunk of his car. Sanu takes out a pair of scissors from the first aid box and was about to stab Tae-oh at his birthday party, but didn't. Later, Ye-rim introduces her to Da-kyung, who is actually Tae-oh's girlfriend. After a small argument, Tae-oh and Da-kyung kiss while someone secretly records them. The next day, Da-kyung goes to the hospital for medical consultation and Sanu finds out about her pregnancy. Sanu goes home and throws all of Tae-oh's stuff into a suitcase and ripped their picture. Myung-suk tells Sanu that Jae-hyuk, Ye-rim's husband, likes her and she asks her about why she didn't tell her about Tae-oh's affair. Sanu treats Hyun-soo's wounds, which she got from her abusive boyfriend, In-kyu. Tae-oh rushes to Da-kyung and assures her of his love for her. Da-kyung challenges Tae-oh to prove it. Sanu consults a lawyer for divorce. After that, Sanu goes to the hospital to look at her family's financial status. She learned that Tae-oh's taken a loan using their house and Jun-young's college funds as collateral. Sanu's mother-in-law confesses to her that she knew about Tae-oh's affair, but pleaded Sanu not to divorce Tae-oh for Jun-young's sake. Sanu gets a call from Hyun-soo. She tells her that she's getting close to Da-kyung and is about to go to her apartment. When Tae-oh leaves the house late at night, Sanu calls Hyun-soo and tells her to follow Tae-oh, but her ex-boyfriend In-kyu appeared in front of her. In hospital, met the new Dr. Yoon-ki, who replaced Dr. Ma. After meeting with Jae-hyuk, Sanu finds out that Tae-oh's company is bankrupt. Hyun-soo's ex-boyfriend blackmailed Sanu because he found out about her plan to find evidence about Tae-oh's affair. Tae-oh tells Sanu that she can't prevent him from seeing Jun-young, but Sanu surprises him by saying that Jun-young knows about his affair. The next day, Sanu sends divorce papers to Tae-oh. Sanu also tells In-kyu that she won't be bothered by his blackmailing. In-kyu then tells Tae-oh everything about Sanu's plan. Tae-oh confronts Sanu in the hospital, telling her that he will fight for Jun-young's custody. He then beats up Sanu and Jun-young sees his mother's face all bloody by the beating. Tae-oh goes to Jun-young's school and tries to win him back by giving him gifts. At a party, Sanu goes to a bar and drinks by herself. Yoon-ki arrives and tries to comfort her, but then she gets a message with a picture of Tae-oh and Jun-young together. She leaves the party to get Jun-young. During a gathering of the Women's Association, conflicts arise among the members, with Ye-rim on one side and Da-kyung and her mother on the other. Late at night, In-kyu breaks into Sanu's house. Sanu tries to escape, but the intruder drags her back and chokes her. Sanu warns Da-kyung about Tae-oh's real character and that he's stalking her, but Da-kyung didn't believe her. But later, she saw Tae-oh's jealousy when they saw Sanu with Yoon-ki at a restaurant. In-kyu continues to spy on Sanu for Tae-oh. Sanu receives a parcel with dead birds inside and a picture of Jun-young inside. She can't find Jun-young in school, so she contacts the police. The police find Jun-young, and it turns out that he turned off his phone because he didn't want to go to the academy. The next day, Sanu becomes worried for Hyun-soo and leaves the hospital. The director tells Sanu that because of the large donations from the chairman's Yo company, Yoon-ki will replace her as vice director. Sanu thinks that In-kyu killed Hyun-soo at the station, but Yoon-ki reassures her that she's alive. The next day, Tae-oh asks Da-kyung how she knows it was In-kyu who died at the station. A police officer goes to the hospital to ask Sanu some questions. Rumors begin to fly everywhere about Sanu's involvement in In-kyu's death. Tae-oh accuses Sanu of In-kyu's death. Sanu finds out that there's no CCTV footage covering 12 hours before In-kyu's death. At the police station, Sanu disputes Hyun-soo's account of In-kyu's death and provides an alibi for Tae-oh. Sanu confronts the woman whose son has been spreading rumors in Jun-young's school about Sanu's involvement in In-kyu's death. When Jun-young decides to live with Tae-oh, Sanu begins to look for a new place where she can start a new life. Dr. Ma, Sanu's former colleague, tells her about an opening for a doctor in Busan. Tae-oh and Sanu spend the night together. The next morning, Sanu and Tae-oh rush to Jun-young's school because he beats up his classmate who has been spreading rumors about his mother. Sanu apologizes to everyone. After learning that Jun Young has been stealing from his classmates, Sun-woo goes to his room and inspects his drawers and finds all the stolen things. To Sun-woo's and Taeyo's surprise, Jun Young saw them kissing. On their way back home, Taeo reassures that everything will be okay because Sun-woo is leaving Go soon. Tension erupts in the hospital when Sun-woo's misdiagnosis causes her patient to suffer pain and bleeding in her stomach. The patient's father threatens to sue the hospital if anything bad happens to his daughter. Sun-woo submits her resignation and packs her things in the office. Taeo takes Jun Young to a therapist who was recommended by Doc Young. Sun-woo visits her former colleague Dr. Ma at a seaside hospital. The next day, Dr. Ma finds out that Sun-woo is missing from her hotel and informs Yoon-ki. Sun-woo tries to commit suicide but was saved by Yoon-ki just in time. Taeo sees this and goes back. Sun-woo goes to Taeyo's house to take Jun Young with her and had an argument with Doc Young where she revealed to her that she slept with Taeo. Doc Young confronts Taeo and he tells her the truth. Eventually, Doc Young forgives him for their daughter's sake. After Sun-woo puts her house up for sale, Doc Young visits the house with a real estate agent. Later, Doc Young meets Sun-woo. Sun-woo takes Doc Young to her house and proves to her that Taeo will do the same to her as he did to Sun-woo. Doc Young leaves Taeo and he becomes enraged with Sun-woo and threatens Sun-woo that he will turn Jun Young against her. Sun-woo and Jun Young live happily together. Myung-suk and Yoon-ki celebrate in a restaurant with Yerim and Jae Hyek's reunion. Sun-woo finds Jun Young with Taeo near a river. Later on, in a fancy restaurant, Taeo cries and begs Sun-woo that they should get back together as a family, which Sun-woo denies as soon as Sun-woo and Jun Young are about to drive away. Taeo nearly gets run over by a truck. Sun-woo goes to him, but Jun Young runs away. After 1 year, Taeo continues to struggle to get his movies accepted. Doc Young is studying art, and Jun Young comes back to Sun-woo.